My guest tonight once said that he used to be the biggest handbag thief in London. Fortunately, since those days, he's become a worldwide household name, and there's no need to steal them. He can afford to buy any handbag he desires. He's loved everywhere for his music, his charm, and his honesty. Welcome, Boy George.
I'm going to punch you next time. Hi, how are you?
I once read this quote about you, which said, and I quote, that people think that I'm a camp fool, that I have nothing to say. But I found that really strange, because I personally think you've got a lot to say, and a lot of people think you have a lot to say. So I wondered why you said it.
Well, it's more to do with sort of press people, I suppose, the media, you know, they kind of have a sort of set idea. I just went out this morning with this, like, Dutch film crew, and, you know, it's like they say similar things, and then they ask you all the questions that everybody else asks you, so it's like really kind of like a never-ending circle in a way. But, you know, I say a lot of things I don't mean.
Well, we might be...
I know I'm brilliant.
We might be continuing that circle now, of course. Let me take you back to when you were in Woolwich and there were the big lights, the big city. What was your first clubland venture?
The first club I ever went to in the West End was the Lyceum. I remember, I'll tell you, it's a good story actually, because I remember I used to have this girlfriend called Laura, who's actually in a mental home now. She had a breakdown. Nothing to do with me, but she took me to the Lyceum, and we went there, and we were wearing all these clothes with like holes in. We were apparently too punky to get in, so we were standing in the queue, like really trying to get in, hoping they might change their minds. And this sort of really effeminate voice from behind said, "Why don't you come with us to Bangs?" So I got taken off to this club called Bangs, which has now reopened, which was the sort of biggest kind of gay club in London. I remember me and my girlfriend, and that's where I met the hideous Philip Salon.
And that's when he was in a velvet outfit with horns, wasn't he?
He was wearing a velvet skirt, and he'd kind of cut this huge piece of black cardboard out and made a sort of very unique guy, made this tunic out of it, and he had black lips. And I remember at the time my girlfriend Laura used to wear black lipstick, and I saw this guy dancing on this sort of podium, and I just wanted to be friends with him. I knew that, you know, I just thought, well, coming from Woolwich, you know, it was like a big thing seeing Philip Salon, so I said, go and talk to him. And she said, no, what will I say? I said, ask if you can borrow his lipstick. And that was it. That sealed the relationship.
It's funny in a way, because when you really made it, people were shocked at your appearance. So were you shocked when you saw people like Philip Salon dressed up?
It wasn't really a shock. It was like, I want to know them. It was like, you know, because I remember like when I was like really, really young, I remember one day my brother gave me some money to get some pictures developed, and I took the bus to Beckenham, and I sat outside David Bowie's house, and I remember meeting all these really great people. And I think, you know, that's why in a lot of ways I can relate to the kids that sit outside my house, because they're not entirely there for you. You know, it's like a social life. I remember when I was like really young, it was like I met other people that were like me, at least that I thought were like me. So I mean, it was like an adventure. So I mean, when I saw Philip and people like him, I thought, wow, you know, gotta hang out with these people, you know, just because I thought they'd have good places to go to.
But did you have a competition with Philip Salon and Marilyn to get the most attention, to be the most extreme in sort of what you were wearing and stuff? Not
really. I remember, you know, Marilyn's whole thing was to kind of like lay everything that walked, you know. Mine was, it was sort of more of a like, you know, it was, I don't know, I think he had a lot of problems, you know. And I think his whole thing was like, you know, get off with every builder. It was like, you know,
you had more taste than that, of course.
Well, I've always kind of been more into like, you know, I don't know really. I like talking to people. I like making friends. I think that's always been one of my things. I've always wanted to like have loads of friends. I've got quite a few.
When did you decide to sort of take that club scene and develop it into a career in wider terms?
Well, I mean, coming from Woolwich, you know, I remember when I used to live in Woolwich, sort of before the punk thing really took off, we always used to go to this place called the Black Prince, and we were called the Arnolds. We used to wear like, I remember I used to wear like Tesco bags, like I used to cut them into vests. I used to make bin liner trousers. I mean, and in those days, you know, no one ever used to sort of pick on you because they just thought you were going to fancy dress. But when I went to the West End, I just sort of, I mean, I was like 16, 17, and I was like pretending to be 21 so I could get into the visitors. The best one there was like the Global Village. I just used to like going there because you just met different people, you know.
Did Woolwich suddenly become excruciatingly boring?
Well, it was always pretty boring, you know. It was, you know, apart from there was only one disco every kind of like 2 weeks, which was the Black Prince, where you could actually go and listen to good music. So going to the West End where it was like clubs every night. I remember I finally got, Philip took me to this club called Madame Louise's, where all the Sex Pistols used to go, and like, you know, Susie Banshee, and I remember it was I just thought it was wonderful.
Did you used to check the hats there, didn't you?
No, not at Madame Louise's. I used to check the hats I used to check the coats at the Blitz. And I used to be the coat person at Hell as well.
So when did you first meet McLaren?
When did I first meet him? Well, I was very friendly with Matthew Ashman. Matthew was actually the one that got me in the band and wanted me in the band. Malcolm always thought I was a bit effeminate. And I remember what happened was that I was very friendly with Matthew through Philip, actually. And I always wanted to sing. And Matthew said, why don't you come and have an audition, because we're going to throw Annabella out. So I went along to this audition, and Matthew really liked me, but the other two guys, I think Lee and, I can't remember, they were really ignorant pigs. I mean, they were vile. And now they've disappeared, so I guess they got their just dessert. But they hated me, and I did like 2 gigs with them. I did this gig in Manchester, and I remember a really funny story. When I played at the Rainbow, my debut concert, Vivienne Westwood came with this bag of clothes, pirate clothes. And in those days, I was really into my own look. You know, I remember I had this like black Victorian dress on and this big hat. And Vivienne said, you've got to wear these pirate clothes, anarchy, sex, punk. And I said, I don't want to wear them, because I'd found out that everything you got from the shop, even if you were in the band, you had to pay for. And they deducted them out of your wages. And Malcolm only paid me £40 a week, so I wouldn't put them on, but I still got to go on the stage. And
at least you made some money in the future. Well, we'll be talking a bit more in a minute, and we'll be asking you to paint, talk about things, and your whole life. You seem to be very much of a romantic. Do you think you're a romantic?
Yeah, I'm pretty idealistic, I think, about life, you know.
Are you one of these sort of faithful romantics who goes back for more all the time?
Well, I think if you really like somebody, you know, I mean, I don't have any shame in relationships. If I like somebody, I mean, even now, you know, if I really like somebody, I'm prepared to embarrass myself at any cost. But I mean, I don't sort of lunge, I'm not sort of sexually, but I don't lunge myself at people and try and stick my tongue down their throats. But I do sort of write poems to them and send them nasty cards and torment them from afar. I definitely think I think you've got to do what you feel. Yeah, because I mean, my friends always tell me, you know, oh no, you can't do that. And especially with me, because if I write letters to somebody, you know, and it's incriminating, they can use them in the sun, can't they? But I still do it quite often.
Well, we're going to ask you to paint, but we won't use it in later life against you. So if you'd like to come this way. Now, all the paints are there. The paints, I say, the felt-tip pens.
Okay, I'm just trying to control.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I'll do one of me as Boy George, right? And you can solve that.
Right, okay. Is this Boy George of any era?
Yeah, this
Boy
is
George today?
Boy George a la dreadlocks. I'm going to make myself look as beautiful as possible.
Well, I thought you always did that. Do you feel you're an honest person? Because when I've interviewed you before, sometimes you come out with these great big flurries of, like, you want to tell everything, and sometimes you close up. Is there a point at which you sort of decide, I've got to keep something of myself to myself?
Well, I think it sort of changes, you know. I think I usually shut up if there's something nasty been about me in the paper and too revealing. Or if my manager's, like, got on my back and said, why did you say that? But most of the time I don't care, really, because, I mean, you know, we're all going to the same place in the end. That's my philosophy. Do you know what I mean? That's one party we're all going to, with no door policy. Okay, you go.
So what about the colours?
Oh, no, that comes in a minute.
Oh, right. What do you think of this, the acid house craze?
Tiny kangaroo dance. What? Okay, this is one little journey. What do I think about it? I think it's, you know...
Because in terms of, like, you're really sort of in the new romantic era where there's a different club with a different outfit every night. In acid house, it seems to be, like, one general type of people. Yeah, and everyone goes. There's no sort of sense of individualism there.
Well, I think, you know, the sad thing about it is that, you know, nobody bothers anymore, you know. It's like nobody bothers dressing up or anything. But it's, oh yeah, hold on, I've got to do the hat. I mean, you know, a lot of people ask me about that, you know, like a lot of journalists have said, like, what do I think, how it's changed? I mean, you know, I suppose there's less snobbery now. Except the only thing is, you know, you never know who's going to sort of kick your teeth in, because, you know, you're kind of, you know, dancing with, like, football hooligans and, you know, axe murderers and, you know, ticket touts. You know what I mean? You might have upset one of them in your past life. I mean, it is pretty dodgy. But they don't scare me, do you know what I mean, those people? Because I know as many thugs as they do.
Now, when you first made it, in a way you sort of managed to use the press to your best advantage. Yeah. Do you think, sort of in hindsight, that was a mistake?
Yeah, I think nowadays I feel that the best way to use the press is as toilet paper. I just really I just try and keep away from them. you know, I mean, you can't really avoid it when you're doing sort of... I mean, I don't do that many interviews. I don't really do interviews with Fleet Street anymore because it's a waste of time. Because, you know, it's like they come along and they know exactly what they're going to ask you. Do you know what I mean? Before they get there, and they know exactly what they want the headline to be, so you're kind of really wasting your time. You know, they just want to know how much weight you've put on or lost, how you did it, you know, so they can inform the rest of the country about your fabulous diet.
Well, why don't you do what Prince or Michael Jackson does and just sort of... They've just built...
Not go out.
Well, they've built up this aura about themselves without giving interviews. They never do anything.
Yeah, but they don't go anywhere, though, do they? Where do they go?
But they've sort of put themselves on a pedestal, and they won't let anybody in. No one really knows what they're like.
Well...
I just wonder why...
I think it's probably like...
that.
It's probably really good for them. But I think most like really successful pop careers are built on illusion. I mean, even David Bowie, you know, you wouldn't have imagined seeing Bowie down at Spectrum. Do you know what I mean? But I think you just got to make a choice, you know, a decision whether you want to like be a normal human being and have a laugh and meet people. I mean, I don't think Prince has that many intelligent conversations with people. Do you know what I mean? I just think it's, you know, that's the whole reason for being on this planet is to like, you know, the most important thing about this planet are people. And I like meeting people. I like, you know. If you don't talk to people, you never find anyone to sleep with. I just, you know, I mean, no, on a serious, I just like people, you know. I don't like sitting indoors, you know, looking at my discs.
Do you think, have you got a lot of discs then on the wall?
Yeah,
you keep them all
they're all in my toilet. They're in the toilet.
Have you got a split personality? I mean, would you like to sort of, in one side of you like to hide away and not be noticed, and the other side crave sort of being known? Is that what it is?
I think all of us have a bit of that in us, really. Do you know what I mean? I think all of us are kind of like prone to... I think all human beings want what they want when they want it and not when they don't. Does that make any sense at all? Really hideous grammar. But I just, you know, yeah, I suppose so. But I think a lot of people, when they get famous, you know... Because, I mean, you know, the whole idea of being, like, famous is so, like... you think it's really exciting. And then when you get there, you realise that it's, you know... There's so many people, like the record company and whatever, that want to turn it into a job. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, they want you to be on time, you know. It's like totally alien to you, do you know what I mean? It's like this morning I was like screaming at these Dutch people because they just kept ringing their bell. And I couldn't explain to them, the more they rang the bell, the longer it was going to take me to do my eyebrows, do you know what I mean? So they were really defeating the whole object. Nice little bow here.
That's very nice. Well, I think all it needs is a signature.
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't
it? And
notice how I emphasise the lips and the eyes.
Now, your favourite video you mentioned before is Clause 28, and we're going to see it immediately after the show. Okay. Thanks for coming in, and thanks for doing the painting.
Thank you.
And, well, I'm sure I'll see you in some club soon. Thanks very much.
Behind
and we'll be seeing you next week.
Tequila sunrise.
What red lips you have.
Beautiful. All right, we're out there now then.